Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be looking at Ultraman Hot Takes that you guys give me on Twitter. So yeah, I've been asking people on Twitter about their own Ultraman Hot Takes and opinions. So let's go. There's gonna be a little bit of ranking here. There is Hot Takes, Cold Takes, and Lukewarm Takes. First one from Ronnie Ultraman, we know how Ultraman defends Earth from kaiju and aliens. Sometimes robots, it's a classic Ultraman thing. But as the franchise expanded, it's become a bit more formulaic. Every new Ultra Warriors from 1966 to ARC, there's almost always a similar pattern. Change it up a bit at least. I guess that makes sense, but what other creatures there is to be added? Space beasts, shouju, and super ability monsters. But here's the thing though, these creatures also are not really popular, and also shouju stories has ended in Ultraman Ace, and I don't know why they don't really want to add that again. I guess because shouju is yapu specific things. Regardless, I feel like this is a very lukewarm takes. I don't know if it's a hot take, but a big reason Ultra isn't more popular in the West is we've been taught that emotional vulnerability and authenticity is media is cringe. And if we can see the wires of the rubber suit, when we automatically discount it as inherently worse or less. Yeah, sometimes lack of realism or just making the qualities of certain things that isn't perfect could make the things or the theme of the stories kind of go down. I've got to say that this is a very good taste. So that will be cold takes, and I think that Subaraya should continue the trend of giving us robots that fight with the Ultra of a new season. Or at least give us new two giants of light when making a new Ultraman season. I disagree heavily on the robot parts, but I agree a lot on the new giant stuff. Here's the thing though, I don't want robots anymore. It's not because it's been a whole consistent trend, and I feel like ARC really helped it with the fact that we don't have a robot companion fighting alongside. Instead, it's just a robot companion as an actual companion or a member. So that was a hot take there. I do not agree with that. But this one is, I would say, a good cool take. Adding a new giant that has nothing to do with Ultraman actually pretty cool. Just like in Mebius, we have Zamshir, who is an alien, a whole new species that isn't even Ultraman and doesn't even look like Ultraman. He just looks different and interesting. Ultraman AT is underrated. Agree? There is not a bad new generation Ultraman series. Every single one of them has their own unique merit, regardless of how toyetic they can get. Even Ginga, especially Ginga. This isn't disparaged on the Showa or his eras, those are good too. This is a hot takes. Ginga is ass. Ultra 7 as a series is really hard to get into at first. A lot of its first half is slow compared to its predecessor. That's a hot take. I feel like Ultra 7 is actually pretty cool and good pace, but I do understand that because I feel like the reason I like 7 so much because it's mysterious, and I getting into Ultra 7 knowing that. So for people who are into Ultraman series who have a lot more action into it and not expecting a lot of mysterious stuff, it's probably not that interesting to them. And also the fact that Ultra 7 is also very experimental with a lot of its episodes, so it's also understandable how people don't like certain things. So I would say for me it's a hot take, but part of me also feel like I do understand where this is going for. You know what? I'm gonna change this to lukewarm. A lot of them look alike.
Racist bastards!
Leo would have been better show if it had good writers, planned it better, kept 7 characterization while developing it, and had a bigger budget. Oh boy. Okay, so how does Ultraman Leo series works? The story has a good writers, they just don't have a good plan. Basically, they have an S tier story, but then they also have dog shit stories, and then they put it together in one series. Part of them is trying to respond to Ultraman Taro hate because people don't like Ultraman Taro that much back then, and they want something much more adult, something that are similar to Ultra 7. So they add Ultraman 7. Also at the same time, they make the series so gory and so horrifying sometimes But then they realized, wait, this is a kid show. Yeah, let's put some cringy episode as well, alongside the horrific story. Ultraman Leo is good if it was paced well. For the characterization of 7, I feel like it's very justified that he changed to that for that specific series. For example, try to think of this. You are a warrior who was hoped to protect the world, but then you got disabled. Yeah, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. He's so bad at being a hero. Obviously, he is pissed because the stake of the world is in the hand of a kid who cannot even do his job right. So yeah, that was a hot take. Nexus is a really bad Ultraman show. Ultraman show used to be formulaic, okay, and also there are many potential story plots that Ultraman can make, and the franchise is still almost barely scratching the surface towards breaking the mold on what Ultraman can do. Just have an Ultraman that uses guns. Okay, so I somewhat disagree. They do kind of like you know, have lose a lot of things. Like you're saying here that Ultraman is barely scratching the surface of what Ultraman can be. But they have experimented so many things and making it works a lot of times. Adding guns won't make it more nuanced. I mean, like, they kind of try to make guns for Ultraman. The laser beam is basically Ultraman guns. So which one will look cooler? Laser beam that full of colors and awesome cool effect, or just a Glock? New generation has given us the most creative defense teams we've seen in Ultraman. Teams like Skip and Aegis, and even the mech-focused teams like Storage and Scott has been refreshing. Also, I think the second season of Netflix anime was the best out of the 3. Before I start anything, I did not watch the Netflix anime where he's talking about the new generation team. I would say yes, that was also really good point. The most I have is that I love Trigger, Roop, Max, and Taiga. And speaking of Roop, the second half was honestly much better explored, while the themes of the season is a perfect way, but people say it's a downgrade and fall apart because they only miss Makoto. Early series was horrible with how they paced the show, but I wouldn't say it's downgrade. Like, it does, like, I agree with the part where you say it's not a downgrade because it's actually like well graded. The only reason Ultraman isn't an international super juggernaut IP is racism and cultural imperialism. Maybe, I don't know, is it about racism? I mean, like, which part of it is racist? Like, does anyone ever say like, oh, I don't want to watch a series from Japan? Like, that's the last thing I gonna heard. Because Japan stuff is like the most popular. Ultraman, Kamen Rider, Super Sentai, anime, manga, hentai. I still don't understand why people like Trigger or Leo. Yeah, I already talked about Leo, so I'm not gonna talk about it again because you guys could just go back to that section. But for Trigger, annoying MC, I wouldn't say that much. I understand the Smairu is not appealing to people. It's also not appealing to me, but it doesn't really get to me that much. They also like reduce it most of the time. They barely even use Smairu most of the time, and it's actually pretty sweet. Sometimes like there are parts of the scenes that use smile well, but I feel like it's overused in the beginning, or people overhated it to the point that they keep hating on the words so much. This is the same situation as DK with Honore Dikedo jokes, where it only happened once. It was so comical that people think that happened so many times. The second time Honore Dikedo was used, not even in the series, it was in a movie that was like ages after the series ended. I'm really not a fan of Nexus or the Next. Mixing the melodrama of Ultraman with the considerably more gritty aesthetic and atmosphere created an orange juice and toothpaste effect inside me. I'm okay, Suburuya. Keep reusing the old kaiju. Yes, I love them for using the old kaiju, but please use the kaiju that never see the light of day. Shin Ultraman is kinda mid and Shin Kamen Rider is better. Fuck you. Ace is kind of a waste of potential. No. Ultraman Rising is also kind of mid. Hot takes. Very hot takes. Getting through the Showa period in order is rough. Yes. Before his appearance in G, I found Zero to be an insufferable asshole. Yeah, a little bit. Him being cocky back then when he was first released and first introduced makes sense because that's his characteristic. He's supposed to be an asshole who doesn't care about anything and doesn't really appreciate things that much, but he values life still. He's still an Ultraman at heart, he's still a good person. He's just an asshole, he's a kid, obviously. As the time goes on, he's an adult now, or at least we could assume he's an adult now, so him still acting the same feels weird. I fucking hate triple recap episode in New Gen. This is a cold take, I very agree. For some this might be one, but I really think there should be a host like Ultra with a lot of interchangeable forms. That's actually pretty cool. That's a really good take, Soren. Amira from Trigger is full of insufferable Mary Sue piece of shit. Mary Sue? Everything is always about her, but not the other two. Cannot get slapped for what's sake. Sakamoto is biased as fuck, scumbag, anybody who sympathizes her, all deserve to be burned in hell. Like, I get where you're going, but Mary Sue is not like a good example. She is not a Mary Sue. Yeah, I get it. Like, we barely even see a story about Hydra. We see one story about him just being an asshole and the reason as to why Ignis want to kill people or want to like have revenge. And then we have Darem who have a crush on Yuzare, which is weird. It doesn't really add anything, like it doesn't add why he has crush on her other than him just looking at her weird. Obviously camera gonna have the spotlight most of the time, but I understand how much they put way too much on her without actually adding so much. Like all we know about her is that she's in love with Trigger. Something happens between Trigger and Yuzare. Trigger betrayed Kamira and Kamira pissed but still horny about it. Like, please, come split Trigger, come on. It's so different with Camila, which the original ones, where Camila doesn't even love Tiga. A lot of people misunderstood her story because she's basically like, Tiga, I love you, please work with me again. But then it turned out that she is just using him to open a gate of the darkness or something like that. I don't remember the name.
あなたは誰よりも強い闇の力を持っている。もう一度その力を私たちに見せてちょうだい。たった一人きりで何ができるというの？
Ultraman is at its strongest in a darker world, not because it's prone to tragedy or deconstruction, it's where its core concept like hope, guidance and unrelenting protection shine brightest. True, unless we're going for like, oh, we're happy at first but then we get depressed in the later series, which I doubt Subaru gonna do that. Ultraman X is so boring and slog to get through. Disagree. I didn't say this is a disclaimer, but someone has tweeted out this before. Blazar as an Ultra is underwhelming due to budget going into new kaijus instead of form. I fucking hate this person, not this guy. I hope he is not the one who thinks this. But that tweet is horrible. How can you not like new kaijus? Are we gonna fight Gomora till the end of time? Huh? Get new kaiju, we have new kaiju and that's fun. Get fun stuff. There is a wild discontinuity between the idealized Ultra trying to empathize with and save his foes versus the much more common situation of the hero beating up and then exploding wild animal. Okay, so the way you should look at Ultraman is like this. Yes, I get it. There are some kaiju that are treated as animals and there are some that treated as a pest. And some of them, the reason they don't treat them as animals is because can you really treat them like animals? For example, for us, mosquitoes. Like, can you pet mosquitoes? Can you like, dude? Come on, man. He's gonna come back and like drink your blood. Mosquito doesn't give a shit about you. He's just gonna suck your blood. Same with leech. So those are pests. We don't care about them because they don't care about us. It's all about survival. But there are animals such as cats, dogs, or in the Ultraman series we have Pigmon. So those creatures are seen as pet or like friendly kaiju. So for them, we protect them or like at least could communicate with them. Hot Takes is overrated as hell. Yeah, kinda. Jeet's fusion form design have too much creative freedom and deviate so much from the Ultra used in the fusion. And that is very true. Like primitive, we can still see Ultraman and Belial, mostly Belial. Acro smashes, like whatever the fuck they're thinking, I don't know. Like, yes, they are the sluggers, yes, they are fire, but like that's mostly robots. There's more like a combination between John Knight and Seven. I genuinely think we need to have a series about the Ultra Woman, or at least an Ultra Woman that has prominent appearance in an Ultraman series. That is something I could agree. I don't think she or like any Ultra Woman can be the main character, considering the brand is literally Ultraman. So an Ultra Woman could only be at best a secondary. I would much rather have Ultraman and by extension other tokusatsu stay niche and true to itself, rather than risk becoming like many properties that dilute themselves down for the sake of wider audience. I mean, I get it, like we should have like a series or like having all of the franchise being or like having their own styles, but at the same time you should try to experiment sometimes to actually achieve wider audience, because without wider audience, especially now, because for those who doesn't know, this series or this franchise is some sort of dying because Bandai is so stupid for not giving enough money. So that's why they are a lot more experimental sometimes. Ultraman toy should not be boring, give it jiggles, more fun. Jingles, not jiggle. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. What do you guys think about all of the hot takes? Most of them feels weird, some of them feels really forced, but some of them really point out a really good point. See you guys in the next video.